McDonald, and I wanted to do a bonus video on entertaining for you. One of the funnest things to do, in my opinion, during the holidays is to host both very planned and formal dinners, and then be open to hosting those impromptu gatherings when, because your home is decorated nicely, your significant other or your friends say, hey, let's go over to so-and-so's house and have a party. So what I'm going to share with you are just a few of my foundation tips for entertaining. I grew up as the youngest of a big family, and we were always having get-togethers, always having parties, always having lots of people, lots of noise, and lots of fun. So I learned early to how to host a party, and what I want to do is give you some of the easy tips that I use all the time to take the party decor and the table and some of the details over the top very easily. So what does it look like? I put together a PDF for you on this as well. You can probably tell I like organization, I like order. But holiday entertaining to me is really about honor, hospitality, and celebration. You want people to feel welcome in your home, and you want to feel confident about the decor that you've set out. You don't want to feel like you have to apologize for something because you haven't done it right or you didn't quite plan enough. You want to have these things kind of in your arsenal, in your pantry closet, in your linen closet. And these things are very easy for you to put together now or any time of the year, and they work all year long. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is what I call foundations. The same way you tell a story with your holiday decor, I think it's fun to tell a story with your party. You've all seen those pictures, whether it's on Etsy or Pinterest or in the magazines, with these gorgeous, highly orchestrated parties. And those are wonderful. But the tips that I want to give you today are for fast, easy implementation without a ton of work and a ton of planning. So one of my favorite things in the world, if you hadn't guessed already, is fabric. I love using fabric as a foundation for a party because it's relatively easy to use. You don't have to sew. Trust me, none of the things that I'm going to show you right now require custom sewing. So the first thing I want to do is walk you through, we're actually in my dining room right now, and I'm going to show you what I do and how I set some of my nicest and most fun tables. Right now we have just a chunk of fabric on top of the table. It's not hemmed, it's not sewn at all. It's just a piece of upholstery weight fabric. It's about 4.5 yards long. And what I did was if we were going to use this for a party, I would actually make sure and cut the edges with a pinking shear. And I wanted to show you so that for your dining table, it's so easy to do. And if you don't have a dining table, you can also your a collection of round tables, desks, folding tables, folding round tables, ottomans. You can group them together and put all of your either your buffet or your seating on top of a selection of grouped together tables. That's one of my favorite things to do. But for the purposes of this particular video, I'm going to show you how I actually set up my dining room table. If you take a look at this, you can see this is just a chunk of 54-inch wide upholstery fabric. This costs about $45 a yard. And I have this particular fabric in a couple of different colors. I love it because it's a high quality, it looks expensive. I actually think it looks more expensive than it is. And it has a nice edge that I don't have to do anything to. I can let it hang over my table easily. Underneath, I have what I call the undergarments of the table. This is just a waterproof pad that I put on top of my table. My dining room table was my grandmother's, and so it's got some years on it, and I like to be able to protect it as best I can. And so I just have one of these plastic pads that I put on top of the table. So you just spread it out like that. I have used my desk in my studio for parties before, and we just use the same thing. We take these plastic pads, we cut them to size, and then we throw some gorgeous fabric over it. I want to show you how easy this is. This is a fabric that we picked up this season for some holiday projects. It's actually a two-sided upholstery weight fabric. You can use either this side or the white side. We're going to use the white side for this particular example. And literally, this is all you have to do. You buy I typically like to buy between 5 and 7 yard increments. Gives you enough to set a nice 12-foot long table with a little bit of extra. I would cut the edge with a nice set of pinking shears so you have a relatively clean edge. Use a straight edge so you get a nice cut. And then give yourself about 12 to 15 inches overhang, depending on how nice the legs are on your table. And then you literally, this is all I'm doing, we just roll it out. Super simple. So for our example in this video, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put a couple of different place setting types on top of this fabric. So you can see different types and styles that I use pretty consistently that aren't necessarily holiday by type. I like them because I can use them all year, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, if we're celebrating Hanukkah with someone, if we're celebrating Easter, no matter what we're celebrating, I can mix and match these elements all year long. One of my favorite things to use are small moss mats. I have a pretty traditional home, and so I like to use contemporary pieces on my table. What's nice about these is they're relatively inexpensive. I think they hover between $10 and $25 a piece, depending on where you buy them. And you can use them literally for summer barbecues. You can use them for Easter parties, and they work nicely at Christmas as well. I like them because they're a contemporary square shape. One of my next favorite items are glass plates. Square glass. Oh, it's dirty. It had toast on it. That's okay. One of my next favorite items are restaurant supply, good quality square glass plates. I like them because, again, contemporary, but they work with basically any decor. In the past, we've been known to paint or to decorate the back portion for a theme, but they're nice, they're good quality. Buy good quality glass plates. You don't want to buy a cheap plate. You put the glass plate on top. Then for this year, for the holiday season, I'm just using my regular everyday plates. These are my Old Britain Johnson Brothers red and white. I use them all year. Doesn't have a Christmas motif on it. Looks nice with this. We're actually using it with another fabric. But I like it because you can set it down, and now you've got very basic. You've got your gorgeous fabric which tells a story for you. It works with the color story of the plate. You've got a little bit of visual interest with the moss. You have the nice clear plate. And then, very easy, this is a tea towel. I like using tea towels for napkins, especially over the holidays or for buffets, because when you're wearing a really beautiful dress or a really nice outfit, if you don't want to spill something, and if you're hosting, 50 or 60 people, napkins can get pretty expensive pretty quickly. So I will often buy nice quality themed tea towels that are consistent with another theme that we're using. This year we're doing a toile, and so I bought the tea towels to match this. Not expensive, very nice, easy, works with our color story. And then for the tie on the napkin, all we've done is taken strips of leather to tie up. I also like to take scraps of leather in all shapes and sizes. If you want, you can use a vegan, eco-friendly leather. Doesn't matter what it is. And then what we would do is I would simply cut out an odd shape and use it to sit underneath our glassware. That way you've got a tie-in from the napkin, and you have a little bit of visual interest protecting the fabric here without adding too much clutter to the table. You set your silverware out on the side. You can even turn your napkin this way. And so right now, very easy. You've got a fabric, you have an interesting charger, you have a basic glass plate that you can use all year for any event. Restaurant supply, if they break, it's not expensive to replace. And this is just one of our everyday dishes, and then an interesting tea towel. Again, leather, cut an interesting leather shape. It works nicely with the pattern on the fabric. And then you've got something that acts almost as a coaster for your glasses. What I like about this is we also have a bunch of blue and white in our home, and it's very easy to mix and match the plates on the table. I love having a little visual interest with the color story. Very easy to do.